Rogers TV. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of At the Heart of Business. I'm your host, Judith Tate. At the Heart of Business is a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. Our first guests today are Darcy Herring and Rena Purewell.
Hey.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So both you ladies, you're the founders of Embrace Surrogacy.
Yes.
All right, that's great. That's very different. So I'm really looking forward to hearing all about this. All right, so Darcy, tell me about Embrace Surrogacy.
Well, brief synopsis of how it started. I was myself a surrogate. I started 10 years ago in the surrogacy industry, and then I was working also in the industry. Rena was one of the intended parents I cared for, and we developed this amazing connection, and one day said, hey, why don't we have an agency one day? And then life got busy, and just in the last year, we revisited that, and it's been amazing ever since.
Yeah? So what was that? What's it like to be a surrogate?
It's amazing, actually. I think everyone should be a surrogate, but that's just me. It's one of those things it's really hard to describe because you're carrying life, so anyone that's had a child just knows that feeling of a child growing inside of them, but you're also giving back to somebody. And just seeing that look on the face of the intended parents when they either see their child for the first time or get to hold them for the first time those moments are like the reason I do it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you've done it a few times. I know we were talking about it, so how many times have you?
I've done 4 surrogacy journeys.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing. Good for you. That's definitely a different way to give back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay. So Rena, like what's the motivation, behind starting this? Like Darcy told us a bit, so.
Yeah, so obviously it comes from our own personal stories.
Yeah.
So my oldest was born through surrogacy with the help of this angel sitting next to me. Yeah. And like as she said, we formed an amazing relationship. Towards the end, we said, okay, we should open up an agency. And I looked at her and I said, what do you think? And she said, 8 months pregnant, and it's like, I can't keep giving back like this. So yeah, let's do this. And I think the two of us bring a very unique perspective, I guess, to the business in the sense of, I completely different background, engineering management, but built businesses. But so I understand that piece, but also having the personal experience of being an intended parent. Yeah. And then her having worked in the industry for years, giving back personally as a surrogate. Yeah. I think we've really built a really strong system where you get, the support that's informed but also personal.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like we've really mastered something or got something here that's really special. And ultimately, what we do, surrogacy. Not everybody knows surrogacy unless you're ever have to go down the path.
Yeah.
So what an agency like ours does, we guide and we educate intended parents and surrogates throughout the entire surrogacy journey. And that's everything from, we guide them to find the match, to building that personal connection and that support system for the two of them, to the legal pieces and all that stuff. Not stuff, it's actually quite complex, but we, guide them through every aspect of the journey. But really at the heart of what we do is we help these families have children that never got to, that dream about it, think about it, hope about it, and we get to be part of that and watch that unfold, and it's been a beautiful thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Darcy, is surrogacy for everyone?
No, unfortunately not. Otherwise, we'd be able to help a lot more families.
Okay.
The age range for surrogates is pretty vast, 21 to 45 years old. Okay. But you have to have enjoyed pregnancy at least a little bit, not have any complications when you had your own child. We do recommend having your own child to be a surrogate first.
Okay.
And then other medical conditions can prevent you from being a surrogate, and that's what the fertility clinics and the doctor's checks are all about as well.
Okay. So that's from like being a surrogate perspective, but what about someone looking for like a surrogate partner? Is it for everyone? Like, would you recommend it, or do you have to?
Oh, so for the intended parents?
Yeah, sorry, for the intended parent.
It's usually the intended parents we work with are either same-sex couples and they don't have any other option other than adoption, but they're looking to have a genetic connection to their child.
Yeah.
Or they're a couple or an individual that it's their last option. They've tried IVF, they've tried themselves, they've tried everything possible they can, and surrogacy is kind of that last option before they give up on their dream of being parents.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right, so why do women choose to go down this path and become a surrogate?
There's so many reasons. I'll tell a funny story. So with an intended parent we were speaking with on the phone, and it was a heterosexual couple, husband, wife, and he says to me, they're from the US, and in Canada, surrogacy is altruistic, which means, right, you cannot get paid to be a surrogate. You get reimbursed for pregnancy-related expenses. So he said, he's talking about the process in the US, he's from the US, and he said, they found the system there a little bit icky, for lack of a better term. And he said, but why do women do it there? He's like, what, are they just angels? So I said, Darcy, you explain why you did it. And she's talking about, as she explained right now, which is, she loved being a mother. She would, if she didn't want to have her own children, more of her own children, but she really wanted to give back in a way that she couldn't. For many, it's because she was saying that, if you've had a couple around you or people in your circle that couldn't get pregnant, you felt like, I wish I could have helped them. Yeah. And so this is a different way to give back. It's that person, she said, I'm always wanting to help someone, and she's the one that show up somewhere. The people that say, oh, let me help, but no, she'll actually show up. So she was talking about all this, and at the end, the guy looks, she's done speaking about why she's doing this, and he said, so you're an angel. And I said, yes. So I'll say, for anyone that does it, they are truly angels. They're women that they have enjoyed pregnancy to some degree. They really do have this urge to want to help someone else, and I think there's some benefits that come with it to be an integral part of someone's family, and that's you really are someone else's, for lack of a better term, hero. You did this for them, and it's something you'll never forget.
Yeah.
As an intended parent, you'll never forget that.
Okay.
So I would say that's probably why a lot of women do it, because they get to be part of such a huge community and a support system that I think is unmatched.
Huh. Darcy, are there any other benefits to that? Because as Rena mentioned, they're not paid for it, but they're just for the pregnancy-related costs. So what other benefits are there? Because I'm thinking they must get paid really well, but I'm really surprised to hear that it's not something you get paid for.
No, it is not. But the other benefits they're intangible, really. My children were little when we started this, and the lessons I've been able to teach them about acceptance, about building a family differently, about just bigger worldly things, I wouldn't have been able to teach them that if I hadn't done this, because they learned through experience.
Yeah.
And just being, it's just a way, some people donate a hospital wing, some people donate their time to do something, or they're just really good at something else. I was really good at being pregnant, and I love helping, so it just made sense. Okay. So for women that love to give back and love children and love being pregnant, it's something that makes sense.
Okay. Curious question for you, Darcy.
Yeah.
Is there a maximum number of times, physically, that you can do it? No,
no, that's fair.
It's a good question. It's really fertility clinic dependent.
Oh, okay.
Depending on the type of delivery, whether it's C-section or natural birth, will depend on the number of deliveries.
Okay.
And also how the body has recovered from each pregnancy. If everything seems fine and normal. There's women that have had 20 of their own children, so why not multiple surrogacies?
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so Rita, tell me about the role of an agency. Like if someone were to come to you, how does the agency help?
So yeah, I think I probably answered a little bit of this before, but you can find us online. Definitely Canadian Surrogacy, a few will pop up. But once you come to us, typically we start with the intended parents, and they come to us and we just talk about, how we help at each stage of the journey throughout surrogacy, which starts with, us guiding them and educating them to find the best match and making sure that that relationship is fostered throughout the journey, helping them understand the various legal aspects that they'll go through, the medical, there's the pre-appointments, the during appointments, the post-appointments. There is how surrogates get reimbursed, because although, like you said, there's a huge, they don't get paid, but you will never be out of pocket for any expenses that you have. If it's daycare, if you can't go to, you have to be on bed rest, if, snow shoveling, there's so many. Food, to make sure you're eating the right things while pregnant. All of these things, portions of everything can be, anything pregnancy related definitely has to be expense, so we make sure that's facilitated well. And finally, after post-birth, we ensure our surrogates are still cared for, because the intended parents have a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so, we ensure that certain aspects are covered off before parents go into that with their surrogates, so that our surrogates are well taken care of after as well.
Oh, okay.
Benefits,
Yeah.
medical training, personal trainers, whatever that looks like for them to get back into the regular routine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Darcy, in setting up this business, what challenges have you faced?
There's a lot of legal regulations around surrogacy in Canada. Part of the reason it's altruistic, they want to protect intended parents and surrogates. So advertising, there are some guidelines you have to follow. You cannot advertise and say, hey, click this link if you want to be a surrogate. There's other guidelines around other things that we have to be careful of as we're working through those things. That's probably, I would say, the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
We've had a good working relationship, and I guess the other one is getting the education out there, finding the surrogates. They're the harder ones to find than the intended parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Rita, we have 30 seconds left. Words of wisdom or advice for anyone wanting to go down this path, become a surrogate.
Oh, I would say, if you've ever thought about, you've had that friend or family member that you've seen experience infertility, you yourself have thought, this wasn't bad, just reach out to us. If you were okay being pregnant and there was no complications, you have little kids still and you think, this could be a great learning experience, reach out to us. We would love to just have a conversation, and it might not be you, but there might be someone in your circle that's that person that this clicks with, because I think that's how Darcy found it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies. This is great, and I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Judith.
And stay tuned. We'll be up next with Michelle Gibson-Morgan.
Just like any other job, to succeed in the NHL, you gotta take care of business.
You need to know how to motivate fellow employees.
Come on, boys!
It's important to be goal-oriented.
Assist team members whenever possible. And always put the customer first.
Listen to this builder. This place can't believe what they just saw.
Hey, beats a desk job.
What's wrong with a desk job?
Taking care of business every day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to At the Heart of Business. I'm your host, Judith Tate. At the Heart of Business is a conversation with women in business discussing their challenges and successes. My next guest is Michelle Gibson Morgan, and Michelle is a leadership, learning, change, and career catalyst. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much for having me, Judith.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so tell us about your business. What's it about? What do you do?
I help ambitious professionals and leaders to get to their next level as they pursue their high aspirations, whether it is to advance their career or to transition out of their full-time career into entrepreneurship, and to find that direction using a strengths-based approach.
Okay, and how do you do that? Do you do consulting, coaching, programs?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for my one-on-one clients, I offer coaching and courses. And of course, I've written books as well to reach even more people. Yeah. And then I also do speaking engagements as well. So depending on what the need is, I can help people to determine a sense of direction, to brand themselves appropriately, and to just put themselves out there in a way that markets them for the opportunities that they're looking for.
Okay, good. And why would you get into this business? What's the motivation behind it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I've also had my own journey of having to go through the uncertainty in the beginning as a new immigrant to Canada, different seasons of underemployment, being underpaid, all the other challenges that comes with navigating life and the zigzags of a career. But being ambitious and wanting more for myself has really led me to determine, based on my own journey, plus about 300 other people who I've served over the years, what was it that's the secret sauce from those experiences. And I use that to leverage that to help people to get to where they want using a 4C model that I've created.
Okay, a 4C model.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about that.
So fundamentally, it comes down to one of these four things. It's either clarity or a lack of it that's stopping people from where they're going. Okay. Their communication, so if they're not persuasive and or if they're not branding themselves very well out there or they're communicating about their value. That third C is about community, the people that you have around you, your mentors, your sponsors, your coaches, who will help you to get to next level. Or not being change ready. So sometimes we're complacent, we're stagnant, we're not paying attention to trends in the market. And so even for people who've experienced restructures, it was a lack of change readiness and not being aware that things can change and you have to pivot unexpectedly. So it's usually one of those 4 C's that somebody's struggling with if they're not thriving or moving in the direction that they want to go as a professional or a leader.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. I like it. The 4 C's. Yeah. All right. So you help your clients use LinkedIn. How do you help your clients with LinkedIn? Because that's a very interesting platform and sometimes a little difficult to navigate. So how do you help your clients with that?
Yeah, that is true. And also it's so underutilized, I find. Yeah. But fundamentally, if you're looking to advance your career or get more opportunities, or if you're an entrepreneur who is looking for more sales or more clients, that is the place that you want to be. But it's not just to have a basic profile. There are really 4 things that you need to be doing. You have to optimize, meaning make yourself easily found on there. You have to brand yourself so when people find you, they will be impressed and want to engage with you. Yeah. And then the third thing is engage. So how are you putting your content out there? How are you putting yourself out there as a thought leader is very important. Okay. And then you also have to network. That's how you will show up in more spaces. That's how you get exposure. That's how doors open. Yeah. And so those 4 things that you can leverage. And I go through the process with persons, starting with diagnosing what I'm seeing on their profile with those 2 things, and then making specific recommendations what to do to boost based on what their goal is.
Yeah, okay. So when you talked about the networking, are you talking about networking in person or like within the platform?
All of the above.
Oh, okay.
It's all of the above. So in a lot of cases, that's where it starts, finding people on LinkedIn that you want to engage with both locally and globally, depending on your scale or the industry that you're in. Yeah. And then there's a way to approach people effectively to start getting them into your network. And then if it's local, then there's also steps you can take to invite persons to a coffee chat. But there's also a skill in how you do it to not come across as salesy, which is usually why people try to avoid networking, right? Yeah. But it's both, and I've done both there, and I've met a lot of amazing people, and I've gotten opportunities out of that.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so tell us, what are the keys to a thriving career as a professional or leader?
Yeah, and that's the fundamental piece is those 4 C's. That if you are clear on what you're bringing and your strengths, and if you are marketing yourself persuasively in different ways, both in person and in the virtual space, and if you're surrounding yourself with the right people all the time, including people to hold you accountable to get out of your comfort zone, and always be change ready, paying attention to what's happening in the marketplace and upskilling yourself all the time, then you will likely thrive in your career, whether you're looking for advancement, new opportunities, or just simply to be better at what you do as a professional.
Okay. You mentioned being change ready. Do you find that people are resistant to change?
Yeah, they usually are. As human beings, we like our comfort zones a lot. And there's just always going to be periods of disruption. And you have to be in that mindset that a career is no longer, I pick one lane and I stay in it for 20, 30 years and then retire. You have to be prepared to pivot. You also have to know that even if you started in one industry, the trends will likely nudge you in a different direction from where you started. And you have to be prepared to follow those trends if you want to stay relevant in your field, if you want to still stay in the companies where you are, and if you want to be promoted and get advancement, you always have to be following what's happening on the ground in your organization, what's happening in your industry broadly, and in the society. If we take COVID-19, for example, most persons would have not been change ready if you were in your comfort zone, being in a physical space and doing everything in person. That would have been a serious shift that you'd have had to make to go online, because not all jobs go organically online, or if you weren't following platforms like Zoom or the other technologies that we've, I guess, gotten more accustomed to now. But for a lot of people, it was uncomfortable, they're unprepared, as opposed to taking myself, for example. I've always loved remote working, remote learning. So the pandemic wasn't a big shift for me because I'd learned online, I'd taught online before. But for other persons who were probably used to a conventional teaching model would have found it difficult to make that pivot to doing activities that would have been engaging. For example, if you're a trainer, like that's my background, it would have been a bumpy road for persons who were used to just in person, using a whiteboard, using a flip chart. How to find innovative and engaging ways to still do what you do would have been a challenge if you weren't change ready, upskilling, paying attention to trends, etc. That you're playing catch up all the time versus trying to be proactive with what you're doing.
What's the latest thing that you've had to prepare people for, to be change ready for?
Well, it's AI. The topic that's on everyone's lips. So one of the things that I have several of my clients doing right now is just upskilling around AI. Whatever their industry is, there is going to be an aspect of it that's going to be impacted by AI. And what a lot of the experts are saying is people are not necessarily going to lose their job to the technology, as it is they're going to be outpaced by the other people in your organization who are already upskilled and know how to use the technology.
That's right.
So I recommend courses, I recommend just some hands-on learning, because for some things you have to play with it to really get the best out of it. So it's a little bit of both, and that's what I've been doing, and I do practice what I preach, and so I have my clients upskilling right now as well in terms of their understanding of AI and how to use it to their advantage in their particular field.
Oh, good, good. So you mentioned earlier about branding and sounding salesy. So how do you brand yourself or promote yourself without sounding too salesy, which drives people away?
To be transparent, that's one of the biggest challenges I find with my clients these days, because several persons would grow up in a context or in a country where you're considered proud or not humble if you're not able to, or if you talk about yourself too much and what you're good at. But in today's marketplace, it's the people who are best at explaining what they do and how well they do it and what differentiates them from other people in a similar space that gets ahead. So it's really a strengths-based approach. What differentiates me from everything that's out there based on my values, based on my skill set, based on my lived experiences that make me a thought leader in the space that I'm in. So you're always having to show your expertise a lot and your strengths, but know how to talk about those things in a way that makes it clear to people what value you bring, but without it coming across as my always pitching to you. You will see the value if I explain it in a way that's persuasive and customized to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because that's as you said, it's very tricky, and it's like, it's the hardest thing. Do you find that your clients hesitate to put themselves out there at all? Like, how does that look for you?
All the time.
Yeah.
There are two aspects to it. There's the internal aspect. So for persons who are, let's say, employed in an organization, but they're looking to move up or to explore opportunities elsewhere, they feel like, oh, if I just sit quietly and do my job very well, I'll automatically get promoted. That's not how it works. You always have to be positioning yourself and what are you good at. You always have to showcase yourself as a thought leader in your space versus a jack of all trades that is more dispensable in an organizational context. That's not a great word to use, but usually the people who get retained and who move up, it's you have something invaluable and you've shown that you are above the rest in terms of something that you're really good at. And then that positions you for when that next opening comes up. They already know that you're really good at it, that you're prepared because you've been upskilling and you're change ready. When those doors open, you are ready to just slip right in versus sitting down passively and waiting, hoping, praying that the opportunities will come. You have to show that you are ready and express it explicitly that you're ready. And then for entrepreneurs and leaders, some persons will shy away from LinkedIn even for that reason. Because you have to show up there. You have to showcase what you're good at. So some people might just put a basic profile, but not fully elaborate on their brand and not highlight, oh, I have great strengths in the area of, I don't know, facilitation. That's something that I usually have to position myself, that I know how to have those conversations, whether it's in a training session or with leaders, how to bring people together on a common idea. And those are ways that I put myself out there, because in the spaces I want to be in, that's a strength. And so it's okay to showcase what you're really good at. It's okay to say to the world, these are the areas in which I shine and which I thrive. And this is how I can help you with your goals, because it's never really about me or myself as it is about what can I do for that other person to add value and make their life better, their work better, their leadership journey better.
That's great. I love that answer. Beautiful. Thank you so much. This is a great conversation.
It has been a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on another episode of At the Heart of Business.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm so happy to have these prosthetic legs. I wear them every day so I can do all the things I love to do. I like to hike,